Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. And thank you. I love seeing what other folks are doing with their syllabi. So thank you, Sarita and Nora, for sharing. So my name is Ching-Yi Chen. I use they, them pronouns. I am an assistant professor in the School of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences. I also teach in the MFA program in creative writing and poetics. And I mostly teach creative writing classes. And so, what I'm going to talk about is actually something I learned from the learning technologies folks. It's not my idea, but I'm like really happy to talk about why I continue to do it and kind of what I get out of that in my class. So, what I'm going to talk about is having the students annotate the syllabus. And I'll just show you my Canvas assignment, but I'm not going to actually show you the syllabus in that because there's student writing on it, as I've asked them to do. So let me see. Let me share my screen. Okay. Do you see it? Okay, awesome. So basically, what the assignment is, and I'll just give some background saying that as a student, I really hated when I went into the class the first day, and this happened to me several times, and the teacher would just read the syllabus to me word by word, because I felt like I could read it. It's kind of a waste. It felt like a waste of time. I mean, I knew it was like important to know the policies, but it just maybe didn't feel like the best use of time. And so I really resisted that, and I've like tried different ways to handle the first day of class, and so this is like kind of where I've settled into for the last few years, ever since I learned about this syllabus annotation assignment. Um, so, what I normally do is I give the students access to the syllabus, and then the first day of class, I usually do more like getting to know you and also getting a little taste of the class. And usually it involves some creative activities and exercises. And I usually try to model the way that I will teach. And so the way that I normally teach is, and this is true for undergrads and graduate students, is in the beginning, I usually play a song for them. And I try to theme it based on what we're doing. So I usually pick a song and then we do a grounding of some kind. And then I do a free write in the very beginning of class. And I usually tell people that that's just to get, to get the practice moving, and it's not meant to mean anything, and it's just kind of to check in. And then we oftentimes do like small groups and or like a pair share, and then do like a larger group discussion. And I do use some of the things that other folks have talked about, like we have like a collaborative Google Doc that the small groups kind of share into. When I was teaching on Zoom, I had people do like a waterfall where they would take one line of what they wrote and then they would all put it in the chat at the same time, things like that. So I try to do that on the first day rather than like read the syllabus to them. But I do say, okay, one of your first assignments is I'm going to put the syllabus on a Google Doc, and then I want you to basically comment on it, insert comments on it. So I tell them to do two of each of these four things: something that surprised you, something that makes you nervous or anxious, something that you're glad to see, something that you think is missing. Um, and and then I ask them to like insert the comments on the Google Doc. And what I say is that if I see a lot of common questions or anxieties, I will address it in the next class. So I basically open up a space that is maybe usually like about half an hour, and I talk through these questions. And it depends. I've done it a bunch of times, so it kind of depends on how many questions there are or comments. Sometimes I say like I might not get to everything that, if it's like a really specific question that only one person has or concern, then I might address it, like as a response in the Google Doc. And so why do I keep doing this? Because I feel like I actually get a lot of feedback from the students. I I can see like what they're excited about. I can see what really worries them, and like maybe something that I need to address in the class, and talk them through. I can see maybe where things are not super clear or things that I might need to revise in my syllabus. And I just like get to know them. So it really helps me also get to know them, as people and as students. And honestly, it has also given me a vantage point in terms of their educational journey and career. Like, what are their other teachers like? What are their other classes like? What are they used to? Like Sarita, I do a 4 day grace period for every assignment. I do tell them that it it's harder for me to be flexible. I mean, so I build in the 4 days grace period. So like I plan ahead of time. So basically my real due date is 4 days after the one that I tell them. And I've had to kind of plan in when we have peer responses. That's the only deadline that I'm really, really, really firm on, and with the 4 day grace period, just because it's hard to, do things if they have to do things that rely on other people. And that I did that during the pandemic for obvious reasons, and then it's actually something that I realized, it makes my life easier and their lives easier. And so I've just extended it as an accessibility practice into, well, we're not post-pandemic, but into these pandemic times. And so what I normally do is, and here, I'm gonna stop sharing now. Um, oh, thank you, Todd. Okay, what I normally do is, in the next class, I address their questions and their comments, but I also have started doing these like kind of strategy sessions where, I have the students kind of talk about some of the concerns and how they respond to it. Like what have they done with time management in the past? Like what are strategies they've used? And then we'll come back to the larger discussion, and then I'll share, certain things that I use. And yeah, I'm gonna stop there, and hopefully that was helpful. And thank you for allowing me to chat about it.